Oh, you started. Okay.
I mean, why not?
Are you gonna pack them?
What do you mean
Pack your smokes.
You know,
Oh, like I was just gonna open them.
You
gotta pack 'em.
down
No.
so they burn more even.
Also, like
Fuck, Philistines. Philistines.
now,
okay, so I'm unwrapping the package. Tyler, what am I unwrapping today?
so I'll say this. You know me. I am not a furry, but I low key
What?
fuck with Joe Camel, and you are opening a pack of camels.
I want to take off the bottom plastic, but it doesn't want me to.
You don't take the bottom
don't take
plastic off. You maintain freshness.
Nate's having cigarettes for breakfast. I'm having.
But
a
like
beer.
they have like this cool, Turkish design,
Well, it says right on there that it's Turkish blend.
a Turkish delight.
It says right on the front of the fucking Camel filters box.
Oh, and they have like a little smaller thing. Okay, so how many are in a pack of
20.
cigarettes here? Yeah. I'm getting the music.
Let's have a chat about hate. Got the purple, wanna talk about it, let it boil over, blow the temper, call this hate and speech. Once the taste is on your tongue, you'll only crave.
Take it out. Take out the lid. Take out the inner wrap. Pull that out. God.
I helped Nate open his cigarette.
Welcome to Hate Speech, a show about hating things. I'm your brave explorer, Nate, diving the depths of tobacco.
Yeah. And I'm Tyler.
Tyler, are you smoking today?
I am not smoking today.
Why not?
I don't smoke normally.
Okay.
I also have seasonal allergies and asthma, and I
have seasonal allergies. It's not stopping me.
as the healthcare worker, decided I probably shouldn't do things to make my chronic conditions worse, like smoking tobacco.
Bones on Star Trek smoked.
Okay.
No, DeForest Kelly smoked.
Yeah.
And Tyler, would you introduce our guest?
Yeah, joining us today, a longtime real-life friend of ours, not one of these online weirdos that we sometimes will collect and cavort with, but someone we've known in real life. Sean, welcome to Hate Speech.
Thank you. Pleasure to be a scatternaut on this here journey.
Yeah. We talked to you during what?
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell.
The Bruce Campbell one. It was Death. No.
No, it was the Output. It was Alien in Space.
Okay, Alien in Space with
What
beloved
was it?
episode. What was the name? What was the
I
name
don't-
of it? Do you
I don't
remember?
know.
It had Dr. Doom in it.
Yeah, Chase Moran was his character's name.
Yeah.
Assault on Dome 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That was a good
Ah,
one.
my brain. I had
that
pushed it out, and you brought it back into my brain.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm sure this gentleman won't mind lending a hand.
So much like my hero, DeForest Kelly, I think I'm just gonna start smoking. Tyler, would you do the honors? Would you
Yeah.
light me
I'll
up here?
light you up.
Wow.
Can't even light his own smoke.
Mm.
No one's ever looked cooler
You know-
than you.
When you
I smoke like a chimpanzee.
No, you don't. They smoke better.
Mm.
Wow.
So yeah, we decided today
Mhm.
on Nate's idea to talk about hating smoking.
I was conflicted, right? Because I'm a person who acknowledges that smoking's bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
However, smoking, no matter who you are, makes you look cool. Tyler, would you say I look cool? Cooler than I do
I
normally?
just took a picture of you and I'll post it. Yeah, you look real cool.
Mm.
Well, now you're kind of performing.
Smooth.
The thing about looking cool while smoking, which I do agree, smoking does make you look cool, makes you look hot.
Mhm.
Sorry, it's just a fact of life. But
Problem number one with smoking. I don't know what to do with these dang ashes.
ash it on the ground. We're outside. So yeah, if you hear birds or dogs, we
Yeah.
are outside.
Yeah, we took this on the road.
We can do that. We're right next to the old toilet we took out of our bathroom that just sits on our back
You can
patio.
just flip it around and use the bowl.
Yeah, open up the tank and I'll just ash in the tank there.
Oh,
And just blame it on your
that's
dad.
nasty in there.
Okay, maybe close that. Maybe close the tank.
There, I put the lid back on. You can still ash in there.
Excellent.
So yeah, smoking is cool. It makes you look cool.
And I was conflicted because like I understand why people quit smoking, why it's a monkey on your back.
You bought an Elvis lighter?
big bitch cockroach like you should know. Never fuck with the king.
And Elvis Presley.
Young Elvis later.
Let's start telling stories.
You start smoking, you immediately want to tell stories.
Well, yeah, because like smoking is a social activity. Now,
And
Sean, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, historically in many cultures, you would light up the pipe and tell stories, listen, and, seek the wisdom of your elders as they took time at the end of their day to relax with some soothing tobacco or dung.
Yeah, what did they sound like? Could you do an impression
Yeah,
of
can
one?
you do an elder? God, after the Star Wars episode, we can't keep doing impressions.
Yeah, no.
Harry Camel gonna smoke, all right, Irie. I got to stop.
That doesn't even sound like Jar Jar anymore. You're just doing a
I'm
Jamaican.
just being racist.
You're
yeah.
just doing Jamaican accent.
Oh, so.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
I've changed.
Wow.
Nate's smoking
You
has
need
affected
you
me.
need to be smoothened out with a nice, cool cigarette, Turkish and domestic. By the way, I'm smoking Camels.
Yeah, Nate. We went to this smoke shop. We'll get to the stories.
Yes.
We'll start with this story. We went to the smoke shop near the meth Safeway we live by. We call it the meth Safeway because there's drug dealers in front of it. And we went to these cigarettes for less. The smoke cheaper.
Cigarettes cheaper. Yeah.
Cigarettes cheaper.
Yeah, cigarettes cheaper, vape for less. Get
Yeah.
the name right.
Sorry, I apologize to the owner of that particular establishment. And Nate went up there and said, "Can I have a pack of Camels?" And the lady's like, "What kind?"
I like menthols and Camels, right? Like that's it. There's two options. Well, you can't even have like a menthol Camel, right? Like that seems kind of wrong.
I am not a cigarette expert.
I don't believe that Camel makes menthols.
Okay.
I mean,
good.
the people, good, not good, the people who make Camels
Mhm.
probably, I'm not sure what tobacco company it is, but they undoubtedly carry menthols in their line. But Marlboro does menthols, right? American Spirit does menthols.
Mhm.
Moore does menthols. You can get Pall Mall menthols. You can,
Like, and I'm saying like menthols, they feel healthier.
when they hit the market, that's what they were argued as, was that they were a healthier, the cool and crisp, refreshing
Right.
menthol to open up your lungs and help you feel better.
That's
It was
right.
Yeah,
the
diet
doctors
cigarette,
recommend
yeah.
it.
It goes straight to your T-zone.
Smokers, when your taste tells you it's time for a change, you want a real change. Come up, all the way up to the menthol magic of cool. No other cigarette has menthol magic. You taste a new cleanness, feel a wonderful smoothness deep down in your throat.
Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose. Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
So okay, let's start. Enough about the
Like
cheesy.
trunk zone?
Enough. By the way, this pack of cigarettes, 20 in a pack. Learning things every day. This was $10.50 for a pack, which is cheap apparently. I wasn't aware. You can smoke a pack a day.
Some people smoke more.
Okay, so and it's like it's $10 a day. That's fine. It's no big.
It's-
I'm here defending smoking, and I want you guys to stop me.
How is $10 a day no big deal? Because you speak like it's like you're just smoking a pack. So let's just say you're spending $10 a day.
Yeah.
$300 a month.
Okay, but I let's say I go to Taco Bell every day. That's $10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
You're right.
True. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And- but
Okay,
you don't.
one
you-
for smoking,
but you-
not as expensive as you would think.
I would argue that is expensive. $10 a day.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if you're eating Taco Bell every single day, spending $10 Taco Bell every single day,
yeah, or just eating out. Like
Nate, not
but
a
you
fan
got
of eating out.
But you got to smoke too, because the eating you need to do, the smoking you don't,
okay.
unless you're addicted.
Yeah.
Sean, so you're our addict expert. you're
No,
you're a
I'm
chemically dependent ringer.
I'm the addict.
Yeah. I'm glad you're admitting it. That's the first step I hear. How was quitting smoking? How was that? Maybe that's where you. No, okay. Well, how'd you start?
Yeah,
what was your
let's
first
go
cigarette?
with that.
What was your first cigarette?
My first cigarettes were probably Moors or Benson and Hedges.
I've never heard of these.
Sounds like a consulting firm.
So my parents were non-smokers for as long as I can remember.
Did you get them to start smoking?
No. My parents, both my parents were smokers
Okay.
prior to my birth.
Okay.
Okay. So I never knew either of them to smoke. We had some close family friends that we would visit a lot, and they were older, and they smoked Moors or Benson and Hedges. Moors for her, Benson and Hedges for him.
Okay.
Okay.
B&H, yeah.
People in all walks of life are switching to Benson and Hedges 100s. Some switch for the extra length. Some switch for the extra puffs.
Catch the taste of magic, the magic taste of more international cigarettes. Catch the taste of magic, the magic taste of more.
A taste of magic.
Government warning. Cigarette smoking is dangerous to your health.
What were they slim?
The Moors are slim. Moors
Okay.
are slim and long and have a brown speckled paper. Benson and Hedges come in a green. Used to come in a green and silver pack, and they were basic white with a light green
So
ring.
this is gonna sound very stupid. Is there any difference aside from what the paper looks like and the shape of a cigarette? Is there any difference at all between like cigarettes?
I mean,
Yes.
is there any difference between hamburgers, between steaks, between salads?
They're
some.
different blends of tobacco and
This is
different-
Turkish and domestic, so it's pretty good.
different additives or
Thank
whatever.
you, Orban. Camels.
Whatever Raytheon put into your cigarettes to make them taste addictive.
Okay,
mean-
but what I wanted to know was like why I'm assuming you were a teenager and you saw a cool
why did I
cigarette
smoke?
and
Oh.
you started smoking.
We actually smoked before I was a teenager. We would raid the ashtrays for butts and go out, sneak out to the garage.
Like
and
the
smoke 'em.
Frankenstein cigarette.
Oh no, she would snuff out her cigarette with like still an inch and a half left on it, so there was plenty of smoke for
Yeah,
us. Little,
that's for you. Inch and a half.
little
No, listen. After the dick shortening surgery, then I can.
Yeah,
finally-
you just had surgery. Is that your jack off hand?
It is historically.
Dang.
You'd be amazed
righty
at how
tighty,
well I've
lefty
adapted.
loosey. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I can do more than wipe my ass with my left hand now.
Back to smoking.
Yeah, but like no, like how old were you when you were stealing cigarettes out of your mom's ashtray?
Not my mom's, family friends.
Okay.
Grade school. I remember we got caught smoking.
Just drop it in there. It's gonna go in the trash.
We
Put
got
the cigarette in the toilet.
where the cigarette belongs is in the toilet.
There it is. See, it's gonna go to the dump. I don't
Okay.
know when.
I'm not a good smoker. I'm sorry. I
Sean, you want to teach him how?
I can go for another one. No, let Sean
And there's
finish
the
his
beginning.
story about being a child stealing cigarettes.
Because everybody, we knew people who smoked, and again, this would have been the mid to later 70s. So there you go, get that.
Disgusting.
God.
You disgust me.
Smooth. The more I smoke, the more I want to smoke.
Well, that's kind of built into
Well,
smoking.
Well, hold on, Sean, finish your story.
But anyway, just a little sneak of smoke here and there. At one time,
So it was like you and a group of kids.
me and my brothers, and
Okay.
whatever friends we did or didn't have at the time. It was just being bad. It was like forest porn.
We love it. We're big fans of forest porn
Yeah,
here
I
in
mean-
Oregon.
I was a coward child, and I don't think I would do it. I would be like, smoking's bad. All the cartoons told me smoking was bad.
Yeah, the Ninja
Garf-
Turtles
yeah.
and Sonic the Hedgehog told me smoking was bad. Plus, my parents smoked every day
Yes.
and still smoke every day, despite even having a stroke. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. My mom had a massive stroke and has severe debilitating deficits. Don't worry, we won't get into that on the podcast.
I hit the want button. So
Thank you. But
Perfect.
we were catching up. But
I was going to ask, does your dad have to light her cigarettes now?
no, she still got the good right hand.
Oh, good.
But I would go to school and I would smell it on me, and it's like, I'm just covered in that smell all the time. And so that really turned me off.
Yeah.
That and being completely inundated with media telling me that I was an evil bastard and I was going to go to hell if I ever smoked.
Come on, kids. If you want to grow up fast, take one of these. One puff and they'll soon be in my grasp.
Now, so that worked, didn't it?
I think it was more
Because well, think about it. Sean had no problem just like being a child, just like cigarette. Cool.
No,
I'm gonna
I
smoke this.
honestly think...
and like us, our generation, we had Ninja Turtles and Transformers and G.I. Joe saying smokings are for jokers.
Well, no,
smokers are jokers.
I don't think that worked. Not
Smokings are for jokers.
I don't think that worked in my case purely because Sonic the Hedgehog, Jaleel White said, "Don't smoke cigarettes, and if someone touches you in your no-no spot, tell." Like, I don't think that worked. I think
it's good advice.
Yes, if someone touches you in your no-no spot, you need to tell the nearest adult. That's to all our children listeners.
And if that happens,
let me finish.
Okay.
So I did not start. I didn't want to smoke purely because I saw watching my parents do it. I didn't want to do anything my parents did. That went for smoking, for drinking, methamphetamine.
Sure.
I didn't want any of that because I saw how they lived. Like, I watched them fight. I watched them do awful shit. And it's like, oh, that is also a thing that they like to do. And I don't want to be anything like that.
So they were very effective anti-role models.
Yes.
Okay.
That, for me, I think that's why I didn't smoke. I mean, I've smoked as an adult because you get a couple beers and you fucking cigarette sounds really good. And look at me holding the beer. That's all I've had. I've been awake.
Hold on.
How many? 2 hours. Don't push the cigarettes towards me.
You know, like Sean is the one that can't have a cigarette because
he can.
He
shouldn't.
It's true, Sean. You can't.
What was with that? I'm sorry. Why did you lower your chin, raise your eyebrows, and sort of look at me from the top of your glasses? Was that like a consoling? Sean, you can.
I tried to take the biggest pull and give him a seductive.
Yeah, you think you could finish the cigarette one pull? You think you can go Tom and Jerry mode? He's gonna try it. You're gonna vomit. By the way, listeners, we're not finishing this podcast until Nate smokes the whole pack.
Ow.
He's too in.
Ow. I did. A
little more respect for Tom now?
Yeah. One pull is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, pop it with the fire. Bow! Yeah. One pull, nigga. That motherfucker gone. I'm done with it.
Because, like, you know, I don't think the flame is really meant to do that. They put stuff in there to stop that sort of thing.
It's called a filter. Yeah.
Ugh. No, that didn't taste good at all. I was enjoying the normal style.
Aha, that's one for non-smoking. I made it less enjoyable to do.
Yeah, apparently just like sucking on it real hard makes it worse.
But I was not even though I didn't like to smoke, I was not immune to seeing how cool smoking looked on TV and like how hot smoking was. Because you look at Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct smoking the cigarette, crossing her legs. You look at fucking John Hamm as Don Draper smoking a cigarette. That's fucking hot.
Not so much as a kid, but like as a teenager and adult, I'm like, smoking's cool. Like smoking, out of all the vices that you can have, I think smoking is the one that makes you more sexually attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking weed.
What about
drinking?
Sex addiction? Does that make you look attractive?
No.
Mm.
Smoking is hotter
that
than
Fassbender movie lied to me then.
Yeah, that's right.
He's walking around swinging his giant rod.
Nothing sexier than smoking. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
Well, like sex, I suppose. but you see what I'm saying? Honestly, if it's between somebody is in the most attractive outfit that they have, and then somebody in hoodie and sweatpants, and then smoking.
So why do you think that is? Because I have my theory. I want to know your theory. Sean, do you have a theory on why smoking's attractive?
Yeah,
I do.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm going first. Cool.
Yeah, do it.
So I think that it probably is because it was so commonplace for so long, and you did mention the generational aspect, which is important because you guys grew up with the non-smoking stuff and Mothers Against Drunk Driving and all that.
Back when your mom was drunk driving, it was cool as hell, yeah.
Right, throwing cigarettes out the window.
I don't want the government to tell me what to do. I've had a hard day at work. I want to drink.
But it was the association of it. You would see in media, you'd see on TV or in movies, the tough guy gets in the fight, and either before the fight, he takes a cigarette out and flicks it when you know shit's going to get serious, or after the fight, he pulls out the cigarette, takes a drag off of it because shit's been done.
Or after a war movie where I've just shot someone and I'm just like,
smoke him if you got him.
shaking real bad, and like the cigarette will help me.
Yep. Well, and cigarettes were included in rations in the old K rations. You would get cigarettes with your
because
military ration.
everyone was addicted to cigarettes at that time. If they didn't,
well, everyone smoked, and it used to even in. I think that most psychiatric facilities have probably gotten away with it. All the ones that I'm familiar with have. But that used to be that you were allowed to smoke. It was that was the one of the biggest differences between a residential healthcare facilities was that if it was a psychiatric healthcare facility, there would be smoking areas. And
well, isn't it true, like sort of like AA, where they kind of say like if you're smoking, continue smoking, don't stop smoking.
Yeah.
Right. Like they want you to keep smoking if you're recovering from other things.
I mean, it's trading one vice for another.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll get into that when I talk about the research I did. But I think smoking for me, like I've really thought about this when you started pitching the ideas. Like, why is smoking attractive? And I think there's a couple key elements to smoking that I think is attractive. One, there's the built-in nature of smoking, where if you see an attractive person smoking and you also smoke, or if you're interested in them, you can walk over and say, "Hey, can I have a smoke?"
Things people have in common.
And that,
connection.
like,
okay,
they hand you a cigarette, you smoke, then you get to talk. That's like, that opens you up to like communication you may not otherwise have had. And then there's the aspect of, look, we all know smoking is terrible for you, that it kills you. Like, there's no arguing that anymore. Thanks to Michael Mann's The Insider. Great movie, by the way. And the tobacco companies, whatever.
Mad Men.
But the fact that you see an attractive person take this this devil stick, isn't that what it was in Star Wars?
No, it was death sticks, please.
Death sticks.
Yeah.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
And you see them make the choice to like, oh, they're doing a little dangerous thing that is not good for them at all, but they're taking enjoyment out of it. Like, there's a lure in that.
Like the death impulse of Mad Men, where it's like, you know what? Okay, they're not scared to die. Like, we should do some butt stuff.
It's just, and it's, the more I've learned about like neurosciences and the way nicotine will affect that now, and just in general, like different things light up the pleasure centers for different people. And seeing a hot person sort of take a little risk while Nate lights up number 3.
Thank you, Elvis. And Sean. He lit my cigarette.
There's something inherently attractive about watching someone taking a risk and then wanting to join them in taking that risk. But maybe that's, stop pushing the cigarettes towards me. Maybe that's what I find attractive, is that risk.
I think that one of the things that you mentioned there, the socialization of smoking. There's so much there that, as smoking has been pushed to outdoors, that's where people meet. Anybody that's worked a job where you have to take where you have an opportunity to take breaks, the smokers always got their breaks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Huge issue. Smokers,
non-smokers
always got their breaks because they left to do something. I'm going to go take a smoke break, and it just was such a common thing. So it wasn't just the nicotine or the oral fixation. It was also the fact of socializing and relaxation, because you lit a cigarette when something was done or when everything was about to be done. So you finish a job, you light a smoke. You're up against the firing squad.
I do feel very relaxed.
And first piece of research, the way nicotine affects your pleasure centers.
Ooh, I'm feeling good right now. So tell me what's happening.
They fire dopamine, like that's how it works. And all these studies have shown that if you do something while smoking, it makes both acts more pleasurable.
This has been a very fantastic podcast, you guys. I've never felt more open.
It does not produce
free.
that type of euphoric feeling. That's the difference. But in the studies, and I'll tell you my favorite study, they have shown that smoking is truly a gateway thing that leads to other behaviors, because they tested smoking on animals.
So, which animals? Chimpanzees?
You know exactly what type of animals, but smoking was the only thing that showed it would habituate people into turning harmful things into habits more than other stuff, because the thing they showed was habitual smoking led the animals they tested to treating themselves to cocaine.
A little treat.
Treating themselves.
And this was not like someone that started like dependent, addicted to cigarettes would become easier addicted and dependent on other chemicals, and not the other way around. Like, the whole thing is like, just because you're addicted to cocaine doesn't mean you'll start smoking. But in this study, if you were a smoker, chances are you would get really into cocaine.
And I'm assuming
these poor monkeys.
Listen,
What do you
monkeys
mean?
like to smoke.
Yeah, what do you mean, poor monkeys? They were
Yeah.
being given cocaine.
Yeah, they live the best. They live the best human life without even knowing
Here's
it.
a cigarette, cocaine, 3 hots, and a cot.
Yep.
Start bitching about how horrible your life is.
In the Monkey Research Institute, you would be the ones that had their brains drilled in were like, boy, I wish I was the smoking monkey.
It would
we all-
have
we
fixed
all wish.
Planet of the Apes. So I'll tell you that much right now.
Instead, I got the Neuralink. I could have been smoking.
Yeah, we could have beat those damn dirty apes if they'd been the smoking apes. They would have just been sitting around dying of lung cancer. But no.
There's a pleasure activation gene. It's called FOSB. I don't know what it stands for. I don't care. I read it. I don't want FOSBA. But it's developed by several factors: how we're raised, what happens to us in the womb, genetics, all of that shit. And for some people, these pleasure receptors fire a lot more than other people, to the point where an example was someone may need 2 drinks to get drunk. Someone with this pleasure center and this affected gene, the FOSB, would need 8 drinks to feel the same. So they need to constantly up their pleasure receptor. Like the input of pleasure needs to be higher for those people.
Well, let me give my history of cigarettes then, because I think that's enlightening to me personally. It means I'm a better person than Sean, because I didn't get addicted to cigarettes.
You have anything to say to that, Sean?
So
If you could hear my eyebrows, you would hear them go up.
They're saying, trim me.
Hey, I'm not at a levy yet.
no, you should get like a higher arch though. Just try to.
Yeah, raise you the forehead.
No,
Do the
so-
anti-Botox. I guess cigarettes are the anti-Botox with the wrinkles. Never mind.
Well, okay,
cigarettes cause wrinkles.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're anti-Botox.
Oh, anti-Botox.
Yeah, but see, I'm less stressed out, so I'll have less wrinkles. No, but like, okay, so my first exposure to a cigarette was in junior high, when my junior high school teacher was giving the, I think, 3rd anti-smoking thing. Because like throughout school, every grade would get the "don't smoke, don't do drug" speech.
Yeah.
Right. And we had like a gym teacher just like come in. He's like, all right, I'm going to show you what a cigarette is like. And he starts smoking a cigarette and blowing it through a napkin outside just to show us the napkin. Oh, there's a dirty napkin. It's so gross. I think he just wanted to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, that sounds to me like a teacher wanted to smoke and was like, look at how dirty I am, children. Look at this
like,
dirty thing I do.
But that was like my first exposure to like what smoking was really in person. And you know, like that stuck with me in a way of just like, oh, it's nothing. Like it was an anti-smoking thing. It's like, oh, like it's just a little shit on, you know, a napkin. It's nothing.
Right.
And so, of course, like, you know, my first cigarette was in high school, I think, during our teenage drinking days. I think one of our
which turned into our adult drinking days.
Very true. Well, no, because I'm not drinking a bunch of Hood River vodka in the middle of the woods.
Some Everclear and orange juice and locking our drunk schizophrenic friend in a tent.
And also not bringing food.
Yeah. Why didn't we bring food? It was nothing but alcohol and orange juice. What were we thinking?
It doesn't matter. But like one of our dirt bike friends gave us a cigarette. That's probably when you had your first cigarette too, right? But when I was living in Japan, I was bored and I didn't know what to do with my time. And I was like, okay, smoking a pack of cigarettes is $1. So I'm gonna start trying to smoke, because also I would get a break too from work. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go smoke.
Yeah. The fiendish Japanese keep their people working.
No, although
that Tojo's working overtime.
Although they did
to
have
keep the American GI down.
They did have the pack of cigarettes that had like the lung picture on it.
I think that is what we should do.
Yeah,
I honestly do.
Does it stop people from doing it? Because like I saw, I'm like, okay, whatever.
I don't think it stops people, but I do think people need to be constantly reminded about the dangers of what they're doing, because if we don't have to think about it, we won't.
Yeah.
The I forget when they came out. I want to say the 80s. later 80s, death cigarettes, which showed which
Hell
were,
yeah.
they came out. They were in a black pack. They had a skull and crossbones on it. They said these will kill you.
That sounds
and it was and the
cool.
whole
Yeah, honestly,
and
I
the
want
whole-
some now.
Right, I had a
Who
pack.
needs-
I
who needs Camels?
actually smoked a couple packs of them. But the whole concept behind it was that they were produced by somebody who was virulently anti-smoking, but it said, these are what this is going to do to you. This is going to kill you. You're going to do it. Here you go. I'm going to remind you with every puff, and I'm going to make money off of you.
But is it like that? Seems like an it had the opposite effect. It must have had the opposite effect.
It's
Because
like-
honestly, like death cigarettes sounds fucking sick and makes
Right.
me want to smoke them.
Right, it's like an anti-sex lube. You know, you just want it more, and it just works more.
Or like
I mean,
the anti-masturbation cross. Have you seen that thing?
I have not. Is it a pocket pussy?
No, I mean it's essentially like a child like pack.
Oh,
with,
no,
like,
I have seen those.
backboard.
Yeah.
But then like it
Yeah,
has
you-
the arms, so you're in the shape of a cross.
Do you think
so,
they-
so that way you can't pleasure yourself.
Right, so you can almost guarantee your child's going to grow up to be a sub.
Do you
Right.
think they make a masturbatory aid that's like Jesus' hands, like with the hole in it, or his feet with the hole in it?
Yeah.
Or like you can buy. I know,
They don't make them, but I do.
I know you can buy like porn stars, pussies, or dildos or whatever. But do you think they sell like the torso of Jesus where he's been stabbed with a spear and you can fuck it? So you can
Tyler, don't give out these ideas for free.
Look, I'm an ideas man. If there's someone out there with practical skills and knowledge to make this,
Now, Sean,
That's a glory of God hole.
I'm not a smoker, right? And you can tell because I don't know when this is done. This is done, right? Like there's like a couple centimeters left.
Turn it so I can see the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fair enough to there.
Okay, good. One more cigarette for me.
what is that? 3?
Yeah,
you've done 3, right?
Yeah,
that
that's
was
why I
the
wanted to
third.
keep the butts out so I could count them. I've lost count.
Or you could just count what's left in the pack and do. I mean, you're a math guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you did so much
I'm a math guy. I love counting cigarettes. That's how I learned to count.
Homework, Rain Man.
I'll outsource this labor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Okay.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's number 4. Light it
Now,
up.
and as far as the blow smoke through handkerchief, that's what Topol, the smoker's tooth polish, is for. You brush that shit off of your teeth.
Smoker's tooth polish.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about a dead industry.
See this ugly yellow stain? That's what comes from cigar or cigarette smoke. Just think what smoking a pack a day, every day, could do to your teeth. But look, here's Topol, the smoker's tooth polish that helps remove all kinds of superficial tobacco stains. Topol starts to work immediately to clean your teeth and to help remove these stains. Just use Topol week after week and watch your teeth get brighter and brighter. Topol, the smoker's tooth polish, now in 3-ounce regular or 7-ounce fluoride.
Yep, there were the industry of I know
Topol.
Topol, huh? Yeah, the smokers and
Topol,
there were a
also the
couple-
name of the guy who starred in the Fiddler on the Roof movie.
See, I use Sensodyne, so we'll see how this works.
I don't know if Sensodyne had a smoker's tooth polish.
I feel like it would just make a direct relationship to what's happening. That's the anti-smoking thing, right? So instead of having these cigarettes will kill you, instead you have the toothpaste of like, hey, if your teeth are shit, it's probably because you're smoking.
Yeah, this makes you a dirty freak, and no one will want to fuck you if you keep doing this.
Right. Oh, it's a can of paint. You're painting your house constantly because you smoke. Like, you show the actual effects outside of smoking.
But here's one of the things with the draw for cigarettes is that they provide a positive feeling. They give you that nicotine, that little bit euphoria, that
A little
high,
tingly.
that little bit of high, et cetera, around it. And there are no, for most people, barring anyone with respiratory issues, there's no immediate downside to them. You enjoy the way they feel. You, again, having them in certain social settings or moments of joy or happiness or grief or sorrow, using them as an external coping mechanism, blah, 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 all of that. It's all the long-term effects, and I think that's one of the things that talking about the picture of these are what your lungs look like, and all that, like all of those things have a degree of effectiveness, I'm sure, but I'd be curious to see really how effective it is. Because tell me what a 17 to 23-year-old is worried about what's going to happen when they're old.
They're going to die from global warming, right? So, like, what do they care?
Well, what you're describing is a feature and the bug, and I think the thing that makes cigarettes very evil in that you don't notice the effects until they've become cumulative and done horrific damage or cause downstream effects in your other behaviors because they do help with concentration. There's a study where people would watch something without smoking and then they watch something with smoking, and people that smoked during watching something would pay more attention. They would be more engaged.
I feel locked in right now. Like I would see that gorilla, no problem. Y'all would just see people playing basketball. I'd see that gorilla. You think I'd be crazy?
What are you talking?
You know the psych experiment where it's like they show the video of like people like tossing a ball back and forth,
Nate,
and then a gorilla's dancing in the background, and then you don't see the gorilla
You
because
are
you're so
wilding
focused.
out. You need to go spend time with Wire Mother. You're getting far too comfortable here.
No, I'm the cigarettes have locked me in.
This is a test of selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white passed the basketball. How many passes did you count? The correct answer is 15 passes. But did you see the gorilla?
0.1 for cigarettes. Tyler, here's the point of this exercise. I want to hate cigarettes at the end of this, and you're giving me all sorts of reasons to like cigarettes.
Keep smoking. You'll get there.
Yeah, just keep smoking. You know what, Nate? If you love cigarettes, I want you to keep smoking.
Because I've always threatened to start smoking in my late 30s.
Look, I can't make you hate anything because one, you're a contrarian. You will just do whatever you want. If someone tells you the best course of action, you're like, no, I'm going to do it this other way. It's always how you've been. So if you want to smoke, keep smoking. The thing that's evil about smoking is that you don't recognize them working. Like they become such a factor of your life and they influence other behaviors. That's what's bad about them.
Okay, so what other behaviors? Give me some actual hard downsides to behaviors, say.
They make it easier to become addicted to things.
Okay.
When you're smoking and you're doing something else that's pleasurable, both the smoking and the pleasurable thing are heightened by that, which I don't want to alarm you about what happens to your dopamine centers if you put too much dopamine in there.
They get cool?
Guess they get very cool. They get so cool and burnt out that you have to keep increasing things to feel a fraction of what you did, which is why meth is so evil, because it's like overcharging your dopamine centers. You burn those out.
But that's why cigarette smokers have better sex.
Is that true, Sean?
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I used to joke that, why do people smoke after sex? It's the best way to get the taste out of your mouth. But that is a old and not aged well joke.
Well, okay, it also
because people taste better now.
Yeah, people do taste better now.
Because they don't smoke as much.
If you smoke, it also affects your ability to taste.
It does.
That's right. And I would eat more vegetables.
I thought
if
you were going to say
started
pussy.
smoking.
I really thought you were going to say I would eat more pussy if I smoked.
Neither are true.
These zucchini used to taste awful, but now they don't taste like anything except for butter.
Stop trying to jokingly see that as a pro. I know you love to eat tasty food.
I do, and your experience with COVID made me not want to get COVID after you lost your sense of taste.
Yeah, that was not good for old Tyler. The old T-man was having a real bad time.
Yeah, but my T-zone is feeling great.
How are you feeling?
So this is my fourth cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling relaxed. I don't smoke. Maybe I should start smoking.
Okay, so smoking is a pleasurable activity.
Yeah.
It makes other pleasurable activities feel better.
Okay, great.
Why don't you say a slur and see if that feels better?
Okay.
No.
Pneumoidian.
No.
Poodoo.
Look, I don't even know, man. You don't want to hate. You want to smoke.
Okay,
you want to smoke.
Imagine this is an intervention. I, at my ripe old age of 39, has decided to smart. This isn't my first pack. It's my 50th pack. I've started smoking.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stop me?
Well, I'm actually at capacity. I don't have the labor.
The spoons are low.
Yeah.
Sean, you're the expert. You're the ringer. You're the pitch hitter. Pinch. Good hitter.
Pitch.
So I don't know that I'd be good because my best pitch to you would be to wait till you're coughing and hacking and having respiratory distress or something's going on with you, and I would say,
"Oh, the smoke on your eyes doesn't feel very good, does it?"
I'd say
because I've been sitting downstream of your cigarettes, feeling that.
I would say
That-
hold on to
that's
that.
it, yeah.
Hold on to that feeling. Hold on to that negative, painful, I can't breathe, my chest hurt, everything hurts feeling. Because when you reach for a cigarette, think about that feeling. So tying a negative to it. But again, as far as smoking, my advice to anybody that wants to start smoking is by all means have a cigarette. Then throw the rest of the pack away. Because the more you do it, the more you're going to normalize it, the more you're going to justify it, the more that the addiction is going to work its way into you. And again, I speak for myself. For years, decades, I argued I was not addicted to cigarettes because I was in denial. I said I could quit any time, and I did multiple times.
I can quit now.
Right, you could, but that
But you
would
won't.
defeat the podcast.
Yeah, you have to smoke 16 more cigarettes.
There's really the best way to teach people not to smoke is by talking about the things that people ask if smoke make sex better. Well, I can last longer without smoking because I don't become short of breath because my lungs aren't filled with mucus that's been comforting it from the irritating smoke.
I'm just built different.
I'll
do it better. I'll do it better.
But I will say that the post-coital cigarette, oh man, that shit that hits my pleasure center hardcore.
What about some healthy gum?
Fuck gum.
You ever bust your load, roll over, and chew some Chantix?
Hey, give me one of those juicy fruits, baby. I want it to last longer than I did. Right.
No, Nate, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you want to try acid?
No, not really. Because
Why?
a couple reasons. One, I think it's like I'm good with mushrooms, and I think doing more would be too intense for me.
Okay.
I think
What
that
about
the idea of like peaking sounds great, but also like either the paranoia would be stronger.
What about MDMA?
I don't know. Maybe in the right setting.
What
for
about
both myself and for where I was at physically.
What about amphetamines?
No.
Why?
Because like I don't need amphetamines. I would want a hallucinogen. I would like to learn more about myself, and I don't think amphetamines would cause any like self introspection. It would just make the house cleaner.
So you'd be amazed what I learned on amphetamines.
So like it would probably mess with your brain, right?
Sure.
And you don't like that.
I don't like it in certain areas. It's actually why I only take one Tylenol instead of two. You know, it's why I try to like wean myself
That's
off
not
of
your
omeprazole.
brain, that's your liver, dingus.
Well, it affects my body.
So, but you're comfortable with a slow habitual change of your brain via cigarettes. That's good to you?
Yeah, but like I also don't like aging. I know you don't have a thromboid vein in your forehead, but I could have swore I saw it for a second.
But you see the point I'm trying to make here.
Yes, I do. I do. Now, counterpoint though,
Mm-hmm.
is that Sean, your experience is like, oh, you know, like I felt like shit. You know, my body hurt, my lungs hurt. Maybe that's just old age.
No, just a second. It wasn't that I felt like shit. It's that I got sick. And I tied that to the cigarette for myself in order to be able to quit. The cumulative things. And that's the thing, is tying a negative feeling, giving it a negative feedback, not feedback.
Reinforcement?
Negative reinforcement. Introducing by associating something with a noxious feeling. Which again, that's just something I tell people to get them to think about when they quit smoking. The kicker for me with smoking is I think about some of the. Sorry, I stopped to watch Nate try and light a cigarette
without it being in his mouth. It wasn't working.
It's not a roach, Nate.
Why not? I thought they put things in here to make it burn good.
Tobacco.
Dried
tobacco.
Finally got dried rolled tobacco packed to
Turkish
perfection.
blend.
But the
I wonder if if you buy Camels in Turkey, they like do the thing where like they give you the pack, but then they take all the cigarettes out. You're like, oh.
Look, he's already being like really racist against the Turkish people.
It's the ice cream.
What if
bit.
those evil Turkish merchants?
Wow, that
cigarettes?
was a real leap there, Nate.
No, like you buy the pack and then they give it to you, and then they take all the cigarettes out. Oh. And then you grab the cigarettes, and then they take the pack. You're like, oh, I don't know how that works.
Why do you want to smoke?
Okay, so here we go. it makes me look hotter.
I'm gonna take a picture of your hand.
Okay.
No, hold it back, just normal.
Okay, normal hand. Wait, you don't like my hand?
No, that's valid. That's valid. Yeah, you don't hold it in a hot fashion. Don't change your pose.
Okay.
Does that look hot to you? Does Nate? Do you look hot?
Yeah, I feel hot.
I
feel good. I feel confident.
It's like a banana slug orgy.
I am not trying to be ableist. I am not making a judgment call.
You don't like my hand.
I am not. I'm not saying that having this is bad one way or the other. What I'm simply going to describe how it looks. Nate, you look like you have muscular dystrophy while holding this cigarette.
So let me see that picture again here real quick.
It's fine. It's normal.
No, it's not normal, Nate.
What's so wrong about
way
it?
That you're just the way that you're holding you're like a palsied old dock worker.
Good.
There's nothing sexy. It's rheumic. It's just
Sean, keep holding your hand how you were. Now that is how you hold a cigarette. He's got it between his pointer and his middle finger, straight up, thumb out.
Okay.
Other two fingers in.
The only other alternative is this.
Yeah, where he's got the thumb on the bottom, he's got the
one or two,
pointer and the middle finger holding it.
Okay. See, I don't know.
That's when it gets down. That's when you're cupping a smoke. Okay, it's when you're in the prison yard with your homies, or it's really windy
He's
out.
protecting it from the wind, yeah.
Right? Things like that. There's all the things you can cup it in there. All the various ways that you can smoke. But again, there's an entire culture, etc., around it. But the way that you were holding it, Nate, is the antithesis of hot.
Okay, I'm trying it now. Here we go.
No, you can't.
Good, right? Yeah.
No, that's so Nate.
I'm holding.
Why do you have your? You're holding your pointer finger up like it's your pinky finger and it's dainty.
Right.
You're holding with your middle finger and your thumb.
Yes,
You're doing devil horns with your cigarette.
Wow.
Hello. It's me, the smoker.
That's like the worst.
I got a new persona now, the smoker.
Right, like the baby metal smoker. We got the little devil horns, sort of up.
Right.
All right, fine. Fine. Okay.
Try doing the Sean 2-finger thumb out. What? This is like whenever you try to say the word pussy.
I can say pussy whenever I want. It's fine. It's normal.
Just say the word isolated by itself.
Pussy.
See? It's not right.
No,
There's
it's
just
not.
something off about it.
He doesn't just say pussy.
Being made fun of for smoking. I'm persecuted. I need to find my people.
They're taking a smoke break.
Damn. Shit.
And they're not cool.
Okay, but so far, okay. So I will acknowledge you've defeated the cool point. Thanks for making me feel like a hideous monster.
No, Nate, you're cool.
It's a practice you have to get good at. It has to be effortless. What you're doing right now is not effortless because this is your 5th cigarette. I mean, you've had more, but it was never such an everyday, all-day habit where it just became a thing, like it was a fixture, a feature of your body, rather than a thing you're holding like it's the world's tiniest penis you're about to suck.
I do understand that. But as someone who occasionally wears contacts, normally wears glasses, I do find myself pushing up my glasses when I'm wearing contacts.
Yeah.
It's something similar like that. Okay. All right.
It's just you have not habituated your body to it, which is a good thing.
Tell me more. Like, to convince me I'm going to die.
You are going to die. Being a habitual smoker makes you a lot more prone to illness and worsened illness than normal.
Like,
because there's, guess what? Shit in your lungs that stays in there. So when you get any problems with your lungs, it makes it worse.
I have a good mucus buildup, though. Like, that stuff catches it pretty well. It's my own personal filter.
See, this is just how people who are addicted act. They're like, well, it's not going to happen to me. I'm stronger. I'm better than the cigarette. Look at it. He's on the ground.
I love the whole, well, I've got a good mucus buildup. Yeah. They've got this sticky web in my lungs that catches whatever and keeps it in there in a warm, moist environment that's rich in nutrients for pathogens. You know, here's the thing, though. Everybody, cancer was the big scare. That was the big thing. Don't smoke because you'll get cancer. And lots of people with their throat holes breathing out of and.
Do you think they make sex toys of those? The throat holes?
Oh, I bet they do. The King and I talking about how you should. Right? Yeah. Oh man.
No, it doesn't work.
I'm gonna go home and jerk off to the first Beetlejuice. Because it's got smoking and a throat wound. But it was always cancer, and so it's easy to say. And again, there were no pink ribbons back then. It's easy to say that cancer is an old people thing or cancer is a someone else thing. When frankly, what scared me a lot more for smoking was air hunger. Not being able to get that satiation with a yawn.
I don't like that word air hunger.
Well,
get used to it,
keep
smoker.
I mean, like the idea that like you just can't get enough in.
Yep.
Sounds bad. Not a problem for Sean though.
And so here's the bad thing about smoking as well. What you're doing right now feels good to you. It's hurting Sean and I.
Is it?
Yeah. The
No.
secondhand smoke, you fucking moron.
We're outside.
Thank you for cueing the secondhand smoke anti-argument.
Yeah,
I told you, I'm the devil here.
Look, I can be on my motorcycle on the highway, and I know if the car in front of me is smoking. Because I can smell it. And again, I made the same arguments against secondhand smoke. Anybody that's old enough to remember when Oregon banned indoor smoking?
When was that?
It was
Like, because that was always never. Oh, okay, let me think about this. There was a brief period in my childhood where it was allowed, and I was just like, "Oh, you can't go in that area." It's like, okay, but like I think it wasn't very long, like 90, 92, 90, 95 maybe.
No, it was after that.
Really?
Was it? Yeah, it was after that. It was late 90s, early 2000s.
I remember like MTV people were up in arms about not being able to smoke in bars.
MTV people. Yeah, Kurt Loder was fucking pissed.
That's my insult to Gen Xers.
Hey, they're fuck you, they were VJs. Don't you ever say another unkind word about Martha Quinn.
No, I like Kurt Loder. We like a good loader around here.
Okay. You're going to leave that one alone?
Wow.
He's fine. He wasn't canceled.
I was talking about you saying you like a good loader.
It's fine.
So Bob the Builder.
I can do it.
Bob's going to build mucus in your lungs with those cigarettes as his bricks.
Good.
I like that you just backed yourself into being like
I'm smoking and now like it's got a hold of me.
He's going to be contrarian. And as a smoker, yeah, contrarian. Look, you,
because
my
the
buddy.
evil itself is not smoking. Like,
okay.
I think that is an enjoyable ritual. It's a fun thing to do. It's a lot like having your morning coffee. It's this thing you can do for yourself that feels good. You like it. It's a habit. The problem is nicotine.
Really?
Yes, that's what rewires your brain. I mean, the smoking is bad for your lungs. Like, adding smoke to your lungs, not good.
Like, okay, so,
I'm saying that as a professional.
So I should smoke harmless weed.
Smoke what?
Harmless weed. Harmless marijuana.
There's no smoke that you inhale that's harmless.
Yeah, it's
There's
all
none.
harm.
And whether you're burning tobacco, dung, weed, or styrofoam in my backyard, none of it is good to inhale.
Okay, I do buy that. Like, how bad nicotine to me actually seems the one that's kind of like maybe beneficial.
Nicotine.
No, that's what
the
rewires
drug.
your brain. That's what blows out your dopamine
Yeah,
centers.
Then I'll just buy some of the gum, and then have a good time with. Because I want my dopamine centers blown out.
I'm sure Sean can attest to this too, as someone who has to routinely deprive smokers of their nicotine. The patches, the gum, the lozenges, none of it is the same.
Can you tell like a safe story, a fun story about a smoker in the hospital that is out doing some nasty things to start smoking?
Well, it's not even like doing nasty things. It's more like, and this is the next bit I want to get into, is vaping. Like, vaping is a higher nicotine delivery system. Like, a pack of cigarettes has about 24 milligrams of nicotine total. You're not lit, bro.
You're not lit. All right, suck it. It's
you gotta add more flame to that, big dog. But
so listeners, if you're unfamiliar with what things looks like, picture like
a dying fish.
Well, I was gonna say picture an incredibly hairy and not attractive toddler. That's trying to light a cigarette without a firm understanding of how any of it works, but knowing that they're trying to look cool.
That's
and
better.
if you've seen 5-year-olds try to look cool doing adult stuff,
You need the contrast. Get the fingers straight.
Oh God, he's making a finger. He's got
a
a finger
gun.
pistol.
He's got a finger
He's
gun.
got a finger pistol. He's going to shoot
Cigarette.
cancer into his own mouth.
Ah, good.
But no, vaping is so. A pack of cigarettes has about 24 milligrams of nicotine total. A vape cartridge has over 2 times that.
Yeah, but that's just being efficient, right? Like,
no. I
because
think
okay, like I take one pull of a nice Turkish blend and one pull it down to a sick cloud.
Is the sensation, the taste, the smell of smoking pleasurable to everybody?
No.
Would you say something sweeter and nicer and palatable is more pleasurable to everyone?
Yeah, like a nice Coca-Cola vape.
That is the problem with vaping. And this is my hot take for the episode.
Yeah.
Vaping has infantilized smoking to a point that's made even more people dependent on nicotine, because if you can vape all day long, you can stay in the house, you don't have to take a break. It is not a noxious smell to other people. It doesn't make you smell bad, and it delivers that hit of dopamine whenever you want it, prohibitive of nothing. Guess what? You're getting more and more addicted to the point where you can't even fucking do it. Like, you have to hide your vape in a hospital bed so they don't take it from you, so you can vape in the hospital because you cannot stop.
Yeah, but then your nurse comes in and wonders why it smells like waffles.
Or if, like, we can see you on the cameras.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Like, we know you're doing it.
But like, what's the problem? It's vapor. It's just harmless vapor. And and also, like, nicotine sounds all right. Like, okay, yes, I blow up my dopamine centers. Fine. If that's the worst thing that happens.
Fine.
If that's the worst thing that happens to me.
It also makes other addictive things worse for you. Like,
Okay.
It can ruin your penis
compounds
too.
addiction. Like, that's what it does.
Okay, penis sounds interesting.
It always does.
Hold that thought. We can't have a bisexual Nate on this podcast.
I'm not bisexual. I'm just saying, like, the penis thing is interesting.
The nicotine being a vasoconstrictor, it can impair your ability to get and maintain an erection. It's just one of the side effects that it can do.
Not for Sean,
I'm not
of
gonna say it's
course.
going to do it to you, but no, I quit a year ago. I'm good with the erections.
Yeah?
No, I'm old. It doesn't really matter because after ruining my dopamine with years of smoking, nothing feels good anymore.
Like,
doesn't that sound great?
Well, it is kind of surprising because I honestly was expecting this talk to be more about, like, cancer and disease.
No, you're gonna get that from the microplastics. You'll get all that.
Okay, but like, nicotine's the thing. That's the thing. That's
the thing.
That's the devil there.
That's the addictive. That's
Not
the
the-
addictive.
not the-
That's
not
the
the-
addictive substance.
Not the chemicals, because like the thing is, like, oh, I smoke all natural cigarettes. They don't have any additives.
They're organic.
Yeah, it's just tobacco, just healthy tobacco.
Mm-hmm. It's the nicotine in the tobacco.
It's just the nicotine.
Yeah,
that's the
like,
bad thing.
The smoking, yes, will have its effect. It will cause cancer. It will do all these things. It will make your lungs worse. It will vasoconstrict your penis so it don't work no good no more. But the nicotine is what rewires your brain and causes you to pleasure seek at a higher degree or higher intensity than you would have, which in turn will have other effects in your life that are not good.
So you wouldn't recommend, like, because that was the thing during, like, when vaping was new, was like,
It's
hey,
not smoking.
To stop smoking,
The
you should
blue.
vape.
Yeah, the Stevendorf blue cigarette.
-1. I'm tired of being a walking ashtray. -2. I'm tired of feeling guilty every time I want to light up. I'm Steven Dorff. I've been a smoker for 20 years, and I just found the smarter alternative. Blue e-cigs. Blue lets me enjoy smoking without it affecting the people around me. Because it's vapor, not tobacco smoke. That means no ash. And best of all, no offensive odor. With Blue, you can smoke at a basketball game if you want to.
Right, yeah, like, because, like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't be smoking. Instead, have this vape. Won't be inhaling the smoke, and it's better for you. You're saying that's not the case because you're taking in more nicotine. That's worse for you.
They're taking in a lot more nicotine. Like, it's nonstop.
And so vaping's worse than smoking.
Yes and no.
Oh,
Because
okay.
vaping, we don't fully know what secondhand vape exposure does, but smoking has effects on children, either you live with or that are in your body, people around you. Like, there's a chance.
Okay, how about this? If I was pregnant, how's that baby doing?
Probably pretty weird because I'd be the father.
Wait.
That baby's doomed.
No man on this earth can get you pregnant but me.
I don't like this ownership that you have over me. It's making me
I don't like
uncomfortable.
being a victim of your secondhand smoke. So I'd say we're both not getting something we
If
truly
you're going to
enjoy.
start a journey on finding someone else to impregnate you, Nate, let me know.
You'll be my Danny DeVito.
All your friends are just waiting for you to be breedable.
He's got some fecundity about him.
Yeah, I will say that smoking has made me more open to the idea of becoming pregnant. So
you're just in the you're in the kitchen cooking. I come in, you're like, "What do you need?" And it's like, "I felt your egg drop. You're ovulating, Nate."
Okay, I'm surprised both of you have not gone over the thing that I don't like about smoking that I did like when I was smoking, which is the smell. I like it when I'm stinking. I don't like it when other people are stinking.
So we were good because when you talked about the appeals for smoking, I remember going to my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
And the smell of the house. I mean, a mixture of old people, pre-incontinence, poodles, and years of pipe and cigarette smoking. It had a very distinct smell, and that smell was also associated with love and with family.
And different tobacco burning methods smell differently. Like the cigarette smells like shit. Don't like it. If you were smoking a pipe of like some nice tobacco, that does smell good.
Oh, in college, our mutual friend David bought a hookah.
Yeah, and hookahs are fun to do.
Hookahs are fun to do. You just you hang around and you pull on the hookah.
And when I was in Waiting for Godot, they had me smoking tobacco pipe through all the rehearsals, through all the plays. They had me smoking on stage, and I liked it. I liked smoking the tobacco. It smelled good. It felt good. It was not good for me, but
that's a lot of things, though. Well, a lot of things are bad for you.
Yeah, but not everything that's bad for you rewires your brain to make everything worse.
Okay, how bad? I want to get to the addiction.
Okay,
how bad is the addiction, Sean? Like really? Like, how bad was it?
You
to
haven't
quit?
been watching him look at your cigarette? When he took your cigarette to hold it, you didn't see the impulse for him to smoke?
I was wondering,
I was going to make a joke. I was like, Sean, you're holding the cigarette. Do you want to smoke it? But I didn't even want to give him that temptation.
Because you could see it in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
something alive in a dead pool.
The idea that I couldn't stop doing something is
to me, that seems like it would be troubling to you.
That's the worst thing, is like the idea like, I couldn't just stop.
That's a challenge.
You're
better than that, Nate.
I can stop anytime. I have a whole pack to get through. I have a lot of cigarettes actually to get through.
Yeah, 15 more.
So speaking to everybody's addiction story is different.
Yeah, and why you get addicted is like some people get addicted just because, they're trading one vice for another, or they're trying to escape some sort of emotional pain. It gives you some pleasure release.
Sean, when did you actually start smoking? Not like when you were a kid and you stole cigarettes, but like when you were like, I'm a smoker. I smoke now.
I'm starting to believe you could never make smoking cool, Nate. Or smoking could never make you cool.
It's because Garfield told me not to smoke.
And you listen to Garfield? The man hates lasagna and Mondays. He's a fucking moron.
He's right about smoking.
John smoked a pipe. Did Garfield ever say anything about that?
No, Garfield stole his pipe because he didn't want him to smoke.
Where could his pipe be?
The answers. So this question still rings true. John looks up and he thinks, now where could my pipe be? And then it happens. You see it. You see, it's almost like divine intervention. Suddenly, it is there and it overpowers you. A cat is smoking a pipe. It is the man's pipe. It's John's pipe. But the cat, this cat Garfield, is smoking the pipe. And from afar and from someplace near but not clear, near but not clear, the man calls out. John calls out. He is shocked. Garfield, he shouts. Garfield, the cat's name.
No, Sean, when did you start becoming a smoker? Like, for real, like you smoked.
Right. No,
and when did it turn to be a bad thing for you?
I think I probably started becoming a regular smoker in my later teens, like 17, 18. Yeah, probably. And some of the...
He's doing it again. He's lighting up.
Stop
laughing.
Sorry, listeners. Watching Nate light a cigarette, trying to block himself from the wind, I think is what he was doing.
Yes.
Was really, again, the least cool thing that I've seen in an evening of not cool things.
I'm fighting every urge to not record you taking a puff of a cigarette.
Record it. We'll put it somewhere.
But as far as...
If you want to see me smoke a cigarette, subscribe to our Patreon.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Is that Patreon or OnlyFans?
Hey, take a puff, Nate.
Yeah.
So cool.
What the fuck are you doing, Mr. Magoo?
God damn.
Wow.
Okay.
So
sorry.
Got the... I mean, it was a it was kind of always there. But yeah, I smoked when I went to boot camp at 17. I smoked.
Was it like was everyone just smoking and
It
you
wasn't
did,
even,
or just
no,
like,
no. It was just. I mean, the people that I hung out with smoked, but I also, but not everyone. It was just kind of a rebellious teen kind of thing. Some of us had parents that smoked. Some of us, whatever. It was just kind of there. But when I started buying my own packs on a regular basis, I would say it would probably be in my late teens.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably. I'm just trying to think of equating a lot of it with work when I would get a paycheck and go buy a smoke.
Like, were you buying like the cartons?
Not usually, because if I
Okay.
bought a carton, that admitted that I was going to keep on smoking more. Plus, I lived with my mom at the time as a teenager in high school, and
It's kind of like when you have your first drink alone. You're like, oh wait.
I remember, so when I was a kid, I probably told this before, but I remembered it again. My mom would buy cartons of cigarettes, and we would go to the jail where my dad was, and we would open the cartons and throw the packs of cigarettes over the walls, and he knew to come look for them in the morning. I was such a good son.
That's.
But like,
Wow,
I do like
that's
the idea that there's just some guy, Lucky Gerald. Oh!
This is cigarettes from heaven.
It's like when we were in Thailand, we were putting our feet over the thing full of fish, and they knew that our feet were going to be right there.
Yeah.
They were waiting for our feet. That's what everybody in that prison was doing with the cigarettes.
Like koi fish in a pond is like, oh, oh no,
he dropped his smoke.
It's fine. Yeah, it's 5-second rule for a cigarette.
Yeah,
right.
So when did smoking become a problem for you?
Smoking became a problem for me probably in my in my 40s. I mean,
That's when it became a problem?
That's when it became something that, well, okay, so let me rewind, let me reverse it. Smoking was a problem for me in high school because I was prone to strep throat, but I would keep smoking. I would hold my cigarette with my pinky, and I would inhale through the hole I made with my index finger and my thumb, so like a meat conch, so I could suck on it and cool the air.
Also
so
known
I
as
could
a penis, a meat conch.
So I could get the cool smoke, or I would inhale through my nose. Just lots of dumb things that I don't recommend. So at that time, I was still doing something because I wanted the feeling of it, but the feeling of it was like broken glass. So even at that point, I would argue that the dopamine, that the pleasure receptors were strong enough, both internally and peer group externally, that I was willing to forego the massive pain of smoking with fucking horrid strep
And
throat.
like the dependence, the physical dependence, while it's not the same as like opioid, heroin, all that meth, whatever, booze, you still will get in a bad mood. You will feel worse for not doing it. I mean, it's called
Like,
dependence. You need it.
Yeah, but like you don't get like DTs when you stop smoking. Right?
No, that's true.
No, but there's lots of people who,
But
having a
people's-
nick fit.
Yeah.
You don't get the DTs with the shaking and stuff, but you can become more irritable, shorter attention span, all those things, because again, your sweet ciggy's been taken away and you can't get to it. Your nicotine levels are dropping, and Jesus Christ, does anybody fucking care? It's just, but I can't be here. It's no big deal. I came here to get help. Why aren't you helping me?
Sean, also a nurse. To the listeners.
I mean, it's so no, you don't get it. Just like when you give up your box of wine a day habit, it's you respond differently than when you give up your spoon of horse a day habit.
Yeah,
every withdrawal is going to look a little differently.
Yep.
But
I mean, the closest I've come to considering, hey, do I have an addiction to something, was drinking. It's when I bought boxed wine, and I'm like, what am I doing?
This should come in a bottle.
Right, but I mean, I guess like for me, it is the addiction part of like giving it up, like the idea that I wouldn't be able to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of a frightening thing. Like you gave it up, Sean. You've been clean and sober. Clean for a year now.
I've been nicotine free for 14 months and 15 days.
You should celebrate with a pull of Nate's cigarettes.
No, here's the thing though is that there was is that it wasn't it I don't know that for me the nicotine was ever the addiction to my brain, to my thought process, etc. For me, it was all about the movement. It was the kinesthetic aspect of smoking a cigarette. That is why I couldn't vape.
So it's weird that this substance in the cigarette made something you find pleasurable feel that much more pleasurable, and it's hard for you to not have those two things linked, which is why you said vaping didn't work. That's weird.
Well, see, vaping didn't work for me to quit smoking as an alternative because I found myself vaping even more because
that's so weird.
Because when at home, because when my now 27-year-old daughter was younger, they didn't even know that I smoked because I had my smoking jacket and I had my smoking cap, and I would go outside and I'd put on a pair of gloves that I found at the hospital, and I would smoke, and I wouldn't come in stinking of a cigarette. But it didn't change the fact that that was an activity that I had to go do and then take the napkin off my head after I eat
it's a nice Ortolan reference, but it's been irregular on the podcast for some reason.
So
I would try one so fucking fast.
I would, honestly.
But
viewers, send us an Ortolan.
Yeah, can we get popular with a lot of Patreon money so that can pay for a trip so we can go get Ortolans?
Can't we get an Ortolan here?
No, I don't think you can here.
Probably not. Probably the reason you can't get good folk wow.
We can home brew an Ortolan.
I don't.
But the other thing about, again, for me, like with the vaping as a way to quit smoking or cut back on smoking, one, you're doing more of it. Two, it's not the same. Anybody who has smoked and vaped or vaped and smoked knows that the feel is not the same. The pull isn't the same. The scorch of the throat, at times pleasurable, not the same. Everything it's the difference between.
He's getting smoother at starting the cigarette.
Yeah, there. Yep.
Oh, he's even talking with it hanging from his mouth.
Side. Wow.
That's right. I'm cool.
Right.
Hey, everybody.
Strong work there, Adrian. Go teach a boxer to do something.
Get Brock.
Oh, it wasn't Adrian. It was
Brock. You gotta give him the power bomb, Brock.
Brock,
it's starting to work. It's starting to work.
There you go. Yeah, Nate just got a little bit cooler.
More. I just needed to smoke more cigarettes.
That's kind of what we said. Yes.
Yeah, developing that healthy patina on his enamels.
So why did you take the jacket? Like, why did you wear the jacket, the hat, the gloves? Why'd you do all that?
Because it stunk. The cigarettes stunk, and I didn't want my kid to smell me smoking. Same reason that when I would go for smoke breaks at work, at 2200, at 2300, when the night shift charge nurse would come in, and all of us would go outside to have a cigarette,
wrapped in blankets,
wrapped in blankets or gloves or hats, things so that people wouldn't smell us. Because it's kind of hard to tell somebody to quit smoking when you reek like a cigarette. You know, it's like, I don't know, having being drunk and going and doing an AA, being an AA mentor, whatever. Bad analogy, but it was that aspect, but knowing, trying to be a good steward of health, and don't smoke, or if you do, don't stink like it. But it was the negativity of smelling of smoke. If you've been anywhere around other people, you can tell the smoker, the person who smells like they sit in a refrigerator box and just chain smoke.
And the research is showing that even that exposure to smoke can be harmful to other people.
So, and no, I'm not shaming refrigerator box livers. I wish I were one.
Wait, what? What's a refrigerator box liver?
Someone who lives in a refrigerator box.
Oh, I thought you meant like liver as in like the organ. You can cut
You're
off
always thinking of organs.
Yeah. You can cut off a little bit of the refrigerator box and it'll grow back. No, I mean, like, it's funny they say that because, like, my mom smoked for years. I had no idea. Because when she would come back from her smoke breaks, I didn't know she was taking a smoke break. She would just walk around the house. She'd come back smelling of tea tree oil. And I'm like, oh, she just likes the smell of tea tree oil. And just go about my life.
Yep.
And that's what
sounds like a cool thing that you would have to hide from everybody in your life.
Well, I mean,
sounds
like,
great.
No,
it sounds real cool.
I get that you wouldn't want to like influence children to smoke.
Which I think is why vaping is evil, because it just turns it into candy.
There's a lot of stories of kids bringing in vapes, selling vapes at school, getting caught with vapes.
This weird addictive thing we've just made taste like candy. It's like there should be a barrier of entry to get nicotine. Like, I believe that.
Is
like, that's harm reduction.
Yeah, I mean,
like it shouldn't be a pleasurable thing. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be an easy thing for children. Like,
I mean,
sure,
agreed. Yes. I don't know if we should restrict adults having cotton candy flavored vapes. I think let people have their pleasures.
I kind of do.
Let people have their pleasures.
That's my right wing belief is that vice should not be inherently always pleasurable.
So every now and then you get a bad lay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me see your punch card. I'm your 10th hooker.
Yeah.
This is not
This is
going to
the
feel
worst
good
one.
for you.
Tyler, what beer are you drinking, by the way? We've been drinking beers.
Yeah.
Could you explain the beer you're drinking?
Cali cream and peaches and cream.
Tyler, you see the irony of your statement just now.
Yes, but also
Sorry, all beer must taste like a fucking youngling.
this still you're also drinking the beer.
I know it's good. I'm on the pro cotton candy vape side. So. It shouldn't be allowed. Like, here's the thing: it should very much be prohibitive to any child ever. Like 21.
So
you know,
my nephew, when he was a young child, wanted to smoke a cigarette. So my dad put a cigarette in his mouth and said, "Go ahead."
Yeah.
And he took a puff and he started vomiting, much as a 5-year-old should when they try a cigarette.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if I would like endorse that
No,
practice.
I
though.
don't endorse that. But because it tastes so fucking bad, my nephew did not smoke for years and years and years. He vapes like a
So he was
motherfucker.
what, 13?
No, he got into vaping. Like that. And I realize this is a reactionary thought of me, and I, in my heart, believe that people can do whatever the fuck they want. But when we as a society make such a
the danger
brain
should be,
brain rewiring thing so easy to ingest, that's the problem.
The danger should be more evident, right? Because I did actually start this whole thing thinking that vaping was probably a little bit better.
It's not.
And like,
it's a main line to more brain rewiring nicotine dependence.
well, because again, nicotine wasn't the devil here to me. I honestly thought it was like, oh, it's the tar, it's the additives, it's the tobacco smoke itself.
No, because I looked into it too,
particles in
and yeah,
smoke.
all that shit is bad. They're carcinogens. They kill you. They will give you disease. They're very bad. Don't do it unless like you want to look hot and cool or whatever. Do whatever you want. Just know that it's really, really bad.
So you talk about the nicotine tar, et cetera. I noticed that, again, Nate's smoking the Camel filters.
Yep.
Basic Camel filters, not the Lucky Strike with no filters, not the longs with the extra filters, not any filter.
I'm not crazy.
All of the filters and everything out there are talking about how they reduce the amount of tar. They reduce the amount of all the bad things in the smoke. But I don't know. Maybe y'all did in your researchers found a lower nicotine cigarette, but I'm guessing that there's been no work to lower the nicotine, the elevated nicotine levels that cigarette manufacturers have done. So again, and yes, all of those things are bad for you, but it's the nicotine that is the thing that not only does all of the addiction part, but and the vasoconstriction and all of that. So it just makes whatever it is that you've got, you need it more, and you can look past the fact that your clothes smell and that you're, the person that people stand a couple feet back from in public because you fucking reek. There's just so many things about it, but again, it is the nicotine.
Okay, so before we rank this thing up, I want to know.
Are we ranking already?
No, we're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I want to know how and why you stopped.
So I stopped multiple times, which again, every smoker does. And I, for me, some of the challenges to me stopping were the fact that I didn't recognize that I was addicted. Again, because I was stupid. I tried Shantex.
You're not stupid, Sean.
Which is great.
Cigarettes are making him mean and weird. But he looks so damn happy.
Right, he does. And not cool, but that's okay because he's happy.
Mm-hmm.
And me.
I'd rather be happy than cool.
Fair.
That's apparent.
Let me get one more cigarette.
One last cig. I think we should all have one last cigarette. No, I'm not.
Everybody has one last cig. The reasons why I quit in my pre-30, before I hit 30, were because, on some level I knew that they were bad, or, the person I was dating or whatever didn't like smoking, blah, blah, blah. I had all lots of other reasons. The reasons why the 2 times that I quit, the one time in my
He's trying to look cool smoking.
the one time in my late 30s, early 40s when I quit for like 3 or 4 years, I think, maybe more, was because I got sick I just it was probably just a cold or something, but I hurt worse than I had ever hurt, and I had an increase in my smoking going from being a casual smoker because you quit smoking, but when you go out and drink, you can have a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And when at the time you're married to an alcoholic that you're enabling by going out to the bars and drinking, you find yourself wanting a cigarette, and the vapes just don't cut it because they're not the same thing. So I, buy a pack of cigarettes, get tired of bumming smokes because then you're that person because there's always one in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be that person because you don't. So again, how your peers are viewing you is this massive. All of this around smoking is just so many peer and social shit. But I had been smoking a lot more, and I got sick, and it hurt, and I stopped smoking, and I quit, and I was good. I was good for a few years, and then I became involved with somebody that smoked lightly, and so I thought, well, I'll try this again. I can do it every now and then. Which again, I always argued if you're, if you can do your heroin the 3rd Saturday of every month and never any other time, that's not an addiction. That's just a good time. I'm not endorsing doing that. I'm saying that
I could do it.
I'm saying,
I have the strength
Next
of will.
on hate speech, heroin.
Nate, you need to do the entire vial of heroin.
It rocks.
With our special guest, Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, you look so cool.
It went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, weird.
Huh.
I was trying to put it in my stomach.
Smoke don't go there.
Just eat the smoke.
The thing that honestly, and you'll appreciate this because it was one that you didn't like. The fact that I developed such profound air hunger.
Yeah.
I found myself at night waking up not able to get adequate oxygenation.
CPAP. You should get one.
No. But I'd also found that my addiction and my dependence was so great that there were times that I would wake up at night and go out and wake up at my night, go out and have a cigarette and go back to bed. But the realization that I could not take a deep breath, could not get over that when you take a yawn and when you get over that hump where it's, oh, that's a yawn. And again, waking up gasping for air. It's such a reptile brain thing to need to breathe. And I think that's where we're really missing the boat with a lot of anti-smoking or anti-smoking education is if you can't breathe, that's a fucking horrible feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get that with vaping too? Like, is that also the air hunger? Does that occur with vaping?
That I don't know because
studies we haven't had like 60-year studies on this stuff like we have smoking.
And the air hunger is because of repeat introduction of a noxious substance that your body is working to protect itself from by increasing the mucus production, et cetera, and all of the wear and tear of the smoke damage to your lungs with their filling and all of the things. So for me, the biggest thing was realizing that I don't have any qualms about dying. But I don't want to do it while I'm struggling for breath.
It's truly like terrible watching end stage emphysema people go through air hunger because there's nothing you can do. You can put all the oxygen in the world on their face. It doesn't change. Their lungs cannot, like their brain cannot get the feeling of getting the air. Their lungs cannot give them the air. And you're drowning. You're just drowning. It feels like you're drowning. You're not anywhere near the water. It looks miserable. It looks terrifying.
So how did you stop? Because apparently it's hard.
It's incredible.
I could stop at any time.
It's incredibly hard to break any addiction. Cigarettes, alcohol, sex, whatever, comic books. But the way that for me what worked was
cold turkey. You put a turkey in the fridge, make it nice and chill, and then you eat on it, and
fuck
then
it every time you want a cigarette.
Whoa!
That occupies both your hands and your mouth if you're a good lover for that
if you
turkey.
really love the cold turkey, you'll eat
Yeah.
its pussy.
I was going to say fillet the neck while you're ramming the back.
You're not supposed to. I thought you were supposed to get
Oh
rid of the
yeah,
neck.
you're like sitting.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
You've got your dick in
Yeah.
it. Oh yeah.
Nothing like a warm turkey corpse on my chest.
No,
blowing
cold.
my load.
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
When
Sean.
I'm done, it's warm.
Imagine like the through line, like you take your zinc enough that you're shooting mad ropes. It goes through the abdomen of the turkey, up through the neck, into your own mouth.
And you forgot about smoking this entire time.
It's the circle of life. So the way that I quit was, again, for me, associating that noxious aspect and also finally in my 50s coming to terms with the fact that I was a fucking addict. And I apologize if that comes across as a loaded statement of fucking addict. It isn't. I understand the disease of addiction and how difficult and insidious it is. So
Well,
I'm
John,
not judging an addict.
I-
I'm judging for myself that I spent
Yeah.
so many years in denial of being an addict while I was an addict. So not wanting to be that person, but also I can say full-heartedly that if cigarettes didn't kill me, I'd fucking smoke those bastards right now. I would have a cart in my car and I'd have at least one pack on me. I would be chaining them left and right because I fucking loved to smoke. I was so fucking cool. Not like you're cool, Nate. Different kind of cool.
Different kind of cool. Oh, it's a little baby cigarette. Take a little puff.
I'm kissing it at this point.
There was so much pleasure from having a cigarette at the end of a shift. Just taking that break, getting away from it all, where you're out there, you're outside, you're away from it all. Nobody's screaming at you. Fuck them. Their pain will last for a few more minutes. I mean, all of the things, and it's just
he's going back for more.
So much dopamine. But again, for me, it was just a matter of that it was the pros no longer outweighed the cons.
It's your 10th cigarette. 20
Half
a pack, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm about to meet Joe Camel. I'm gonna meet him for real.
John's inspecting the cigarettes.
Joe Camel's not on there, which is very
I know
upsetting.
they got rid of him because he was so cool.
He was too cool.
Right, because he was encouraging children to smoke is why they got rid of Joe Camel.
I know, but he was so cool.
No, I don't think he was encouraging. Like,
yes,
he was.
Yeah.
what did he say? Hey, kids, you want a cigarette? No.
They used a cartoon imagery. It's like you don't see the beer wolf around anymore.
What?
The beer wolf, the Coors Light beer wolf.
I gotta look this thing up.
Beer wolf.
Another adventure with the Coors Light Beer Wolf.
You're out! Hey, Beer Wolf, know we can find some Coors Light? Sure!
I'm sorry. Hey, Gen X people here. You know who the beer wolf is.
Is that like the dog that would drink Bud Light?
Spuds McKenzie.
Oh my God!
Can I see the? Okay. Whoa!
Yeah.
Holy shit! That thing is so cool.
Exactly.
That thing is for kids and adults.
That thing came out when I was
Families are welcome.
That thing came out when I was in junior high because I remember
Nate.
Coors went from Rocky Mountain piss water to the silver bullet with the beer wolf.
They made physical beer wolves you could put on stuff.
Oh,
And like Joe Camel was an equivalent of the beer. Well, okay, the beer wolf. I don't know. That's a different tier. But
who's getting better head, the Coors Beer Wolf or Joe Camel? Holy shit!
Joe Camel because his nose looks like a dick. Oh yeah, see there
beer
you go.
wolf on the back of a bomber jacket.
I never did get the dick nose thing with Joe Camel. I don't see a penis there.
Well, there are cathedrals everywhere for those with eyes to see, Nate. If you can't see the penis nose,
so but you didn't take gum.
Look
you didn't...
at the balls. His lips are the balls.
Oh, his lips are the balls. Yeah. Okay, I thought the whole thing was just like
he's smooth. The ladies love smooth Joe Camel. Smooth character. There you go. Tyler
this guy
just pulled it up.
rocks.
Yep. He wears a tuxedo.
Joe Camel's the cool. Oh my God, Nate! Look at the camel pussy. You could.
Yeah, but like, okay, but like,
Ooh, wow, that's totally mannequin.
I hate to defend Big Tobacco. I'm gonna do it though.
No, you're not.
It was some guy. He's like, I want a cool character. I'm gonna name him Joe Camel. He's cool. He wasn't thinking about like I'm gonna get kids addicted to cigarettes. He was just like, Joe Camel is cool.
I call bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, I call bullshit because yes, there was this cool thing, but how do you expand your market? Because cigarettes have the problem with cigarettes and advertising for cigarettes is that you're selling something that you are going to lose your consumers by the very nature of what you're selling them. So you constantly need to bring more people into it.
Yeah, agreed.
So you create something that is fun and entertaining, and again, smooth character.
So it's not
cool
getting,
Joe Camel.
It's not getting kids to smoke. It's getting them when they grow up to be adults to smoke. Yeah.
Well,
So,
as you're making it interesting for kids, you're planting that seed in there. It's just like why you would see a lot of NASCAR was sponsored by tobacco companies, chew companies. The Skull Bandits. Who was the? Y'all aren't NASCARs, and neither
there
am
was
I.
a $250 billion 1998 settlement that proved that tobacco companies targeted children.
Like they had the paper, like let's get the children.
They did research, and
okay.
they recently violated that with vaping stuff.
I mean,
so it's
yeah. You're right. I shouldn't defend the tobacco companies.
So you want to keep going with that?
But
I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, but it's also something that the Flintstones used to, there are commercials for Winston's in the Flintstones.
Okay, how's about taking a nap? Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it. Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack.
Okay, but I don't believe any kid likes the Flintstones.
Yeah, but too. I like smoking too. He's got 2 cigarettes.
Yeah, but you're also talking about today versus the 50s or 60s when these things came out.
Lower standards for children. They're like, oh, I love that drinking abusive husband, the Flintstone.
Fred.
Yeah.
Fred
Flintstone movie kind of hits, though.
Yeah.
John Goodman. We watched it recently.
If you haven't seen
it's
it.
pretty good.
The
good.
Flintstone comic book that came out.
Yeah.
Also good. Yeah.
But so,
fucking amazing.
But you were just like, I'm done. And you just didn't buy anymore?
I stopped buying. I had to quit because
did you get the
since
patch?
you mentioned the cold turkey, I've done patches before. I've done the gum, Nicorette gum before, and I've done Shantex before. And for me,
Shantex?
Yeah, that's the gum or the thing you take that messes with your pleasure receptors, which is why when people are on Chantix, they can have nightmares because it's fucking with your brains.
So if I want to, like, okay,
that was an appeal for me.
I honestly, like, I'm not addicted to cigarettes, but like, if there's a nightmare pill, I want to take the nightmare pill.
I get to stop smoking and I get to meet Freddy Krueger. This rocks.
Honestly, the idea of a nightmare pill is kind of sick, and I want to try one.
Well, the downside for me for Shantex was that it promoted to me a near constant feeling of the halfway through the last beer of the night, that feeling like you're just about to throw up. So, but again, I tried a number of different ways to quit smoking, and I found that for me, none of them worked. I'm not saying they don't work for other people. I've got one of my best friends has chewed nicotine gum for well over a decade, probably even longer than that, and hasn't smoked for years. But he still has the nicotine, still likes the nicotine.
That's the addictive one, right?
So that's how they handle it. And nicotine gum always burned my mouth. I never cared for it. But again, how I quit smoking was just the constant reminder of it that I don't want to do that anymore, and the recognition of my addiction, the recognition and acceptance of it. But even and knowing that there's no such thing as a healthy cigarette. If one is ever invented, I'll be right there. But until that time, it just isn't a thing. As soon as they invent a safe penis enlargement surgery.
Well, okay, so
I'll sign someone up.
What if they made a vape that has no nicotine in it?
They do.
It's just cotton candy.
They do.
So like I could do that and have no problem, right?
Sure, if you want to do
maybe
the whole,
popcorn, popcorn lung. I don't know.
Who even knows if that's fucking real? The study on that's not super conclusive. We don't have the years long studies with vaping. We're getting there, but who fucking knows?
It doesn't look good. The studies. I mean, there's no study that come out that says vaping's not harmful. But I guess it would be like new from Hasbro. My first kit, which comes with a little plastic syringe and a play spoon and a fake lighter, because there's nothing harmful in it because you're not doing the real thing, which is the same way I look at non-nicotine vapes. They're being targeted.
It's training them.
I had a very cursed thought. I wonder if you could actually make that and sell that to children where it's just it's only it's a non-nicotine vape. And there's nothing legal there for children. You could give it to a child.
I'm sure it exists. It has to exist.
It's like the bubble pipe.
But like candy cigarettes.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they
Big League Chew.
Yeah.
Big League Chew.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, Big League Chew kind of.
They should make. I was gonna say, they should make candy snuff, and it's just snort Fun Dip or Pixie Stick.
It's called Zins. You ever do snuff?
No, I've done snuff. Remember when my dad made us snort snuff?
Yep.
Done snuff.
It's not great. I wouldn't do that unless I was very addicted to cigarettes.
Kind of enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do it again
Because
it
like
was
Coke Light.
Yeah,
I'm not really doing Coke, but
it's just like Zins. Like
the Zin.
Sean and I
one's a
used
big
to
one.
work with some doctors who would walk around with like dips in their lip.
Yep.
We can't like. I think Zin might be its own thing.
Yeah, we got to explore. we got to explore that.
But like, so I've been thinking about like, what are we ranking? So I'm gonna hit I'm gonna hit the button.
Hell yeah, we heard it. So here on Hate Speech, we have what's called the spectrum of hate, because we think to discuss anything with any nuance, especially something you hate, it should be on a spectrum, because not everything's black and white, except our two examples of what's on the spectrum of hate. One's black, one's white. On the bad end of the spectrum is the white person, of course, Adolf Hitler. We think it's okay to hate him completely. On the other end of the spectrum is the thing we believe is universally loved and should be loved, and that is one.
No, do that last one. It'll hit 11.
LeVar Burton.
Well, I'm looking. There's like a white thread through these. I want to see whether.
Now you're finally starting to inspect what's in the cigarette. You have half a bag of cigarettes, and you're like, oh, I wonder what's
There's
in
a
these.
white thread there, but never mind the 117 chemicals.
I wonder if it's a little piece of paper that makes it easier to keep lighting the tobacco.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not going to think about it. So, yeah, we're ranking smoking, right? It's smoking.
It's smoking. I want to include vapes, though, because I think we talked about vapes enough to rank it.
Yeah, kind of.
And so, yeah, let's call it like smoking vaping.
Smoking vaping?
Smoking
vaping.
I kind of like just calling it smoking.
Okay.
Because
we
I mean,
acknowledge that vape's there.
It gives vapors some stolen valor because I don't believe they're real smokers. I think
they're less cool.
They're less cool. I think like it's infantilized smoking, you fucking babies. Smoke a real cigarette. Sorry if I'm going to be toxic. I'm going to be mean. I'm going to be whatever. Oh, he's going for it. He's smoking that shit.
He reverted in his lighting technique. To a 7-year-old.
He's buffing it real good.
I'm smoking.
Like a laboratory chimp rat.
If it weren't horribly unethical and cruel to my good personal friend, I'd ask Sean to light and smoke one just to show you how it's done. But we won't.
No.
We won't be doing that.
Why don't you try it?
I don't smoke, and I'm not going to smoke, and I know I would look just as ridiculous.
Okay, so I guess I need to pull up the list. And we can get the general vibes and nail it down.
Yeah.
Sean, would you say it's better or worse than Buffalo Wild Wings?
No, it's far fucking worse.
Yeah, it's a truly evil thing.
Who's number? Who's
What's next to Hitler?
Yeah,
it's Holes, the movie starring Shia LaBeouf.
It doesn't beat Holes, actually. It's worse. Holes is a worse movie.
I would. You know what?
We've never seen Holes.
I would argue. I think that as far as my ranking. All right, sorry, internet. My ranking is that cigarettes are wrapped around Hitler for how bad they are. It's like the difference between cigarettes and Hitler is that Hitler was one person doing all this stuff. Cigarettes are entire corporations doing all of this stuff.
You think cigarettes smoked more than 6 million people?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
But to be fair, also, if you look at who had the coolest fucking uniforms, it was the SS.
Like, well,
again,
we're not.
I would disagree.
And evil and all of these things, but boy,
it was obviously
there's
the
some
Soviet
coolness
Army.
to it.
Green and red.
They had a cool skull. No, like, I don't think so, because I think there's an intention, there's a malice behind some of the things lower down on that list that there isn't behind cigarettes. I think it is a banal evil.
The companies that make cigarettes are evil.
Yes.
So we're talking about smoking cigarettes.
We're talking about, like, if I always like to bring the argument of the infinitely destroying gun. If I could destroy it in the past, present, and the future, and I had a gun and I was aiming at Hitler or the idea of cigarettes, of smoking, I would shoot Hitler.
You're such a good guy.
I'm a hero, I think. Sean, would you shoot Hitler or Joe Camel? Here, I'll pull up the list.
I would shoot Hitler. I mean, the thing, because again, when you think about smoking, it's like the while not healthy, if you're not doing it all the time, it's not a big deal.
And it's also a thing when done in complete isolation, it doesn't harm anyone else.
Right. It's just and if you like have had people who like, oh, do you smoke? Doing like asking patient, do you smoke? Oh, I have a cigarette every night, 1 cigarette, and I'm like, oh well, yeah, we're probably all smoking more than you.
Okay,
just being around.
I will put the argument though that it's worse than the F-35. I think because the F-35 is a well, okay, it's hard to decide which one is killed more because of money reasons. But okay, we didn't actually talk about the cost of like a pack of cigarettes, how much it actually costs to smoke.
I mean, you said it was $10.50, right?
Well, okay, we did, but like if you
it is like it's a tax on people,
on poor people specifically.
Yeah.
I think like there's a big target towards poverty and people of lower economic status
because it's a not cheap but relatively cheaper pleasure escape.
Right, and also rich people don't smoke that much. Right, like there's
they have other drugs. They can just go to their doctor and get drugs.
Yeah, it's kind of something that is assigned to working class individuals.
Although I will say that it is very funny if you look up pictures of Leonardo DiCaprio vaping at the Oscars. It's so funny.
I like the one where he's doing coke at the Super Bowl, but that's just me. But like the F-35, it's by the way we're talking about the F-35 because it's the lowest thing on our list aside from Hitler and holes. We don't like holes. We like some holes. We don't like the movie holes.
We don't like the movie holes. People holes good. Movie holes bad.
That's right.
Unless we're talking about on film, like the little film holes.
Oh, sprockets.
Yeah, I love that word.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Sprockets.
But like the F-35, I think is kind of in the same tier of like it not only is directly blowing up people, but is also a very expensive subsidy to the military industrial complex, which is why we don't like it.
Yeah,
tobacco is very similar. It's just that it's taking and ruining poor people's health and
like their children,
right? And like it's on the downside, but then again, vaping is ubiquitous now, and so like it's just replaced one bad thing for another bad thing. And yeah, I don't know, Sean. Like, what do you think? You wanted to put it by Hitler, so I imagine you're probably thrilled it's like right next to Hitler.
Yeah, I would definitely put it past the.
Would you shoot the F-35 or tobacco?
Tobacco.
Okay.
The F-35 shoots itself.
yeah, you're right.
No, I completely agree because it's one of these things on the list where even when done in isolation, it still harms you. Like it harms you. It can rewire your brain, makes you addicted, makes you dependent on the thing, which will then cause all the other downstream effects that are negative.
The people that smoke aren't evil. The cigarettes themselves as an object aren't inherently evil. I mean, it's a plant.
Right.
It's just a plant.
It's just a plant, man.
And
It's gonna be bad.
The one thing that has me thinking, okay, higher than the lowest is that that smoking has been around as pretty much as long as humans have been around. And again, everything in moderation, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that gotten away from I don't see the for those of you that are Stephen King fans familiar with the Dark Tower series, Roland is gives a couple key notes on the quality of smoking. And sure that's there, but we're also talking about a scenario in which it's somebody that maybe has a few cigarettes a week rather than the multiple amounts. It's why that the sitting there drinking a Cosmo is fine. Sitting there drinking a box wine at home in bed, because you need to, maybe not.
It's the third time you've mentioned your ex-wife.
Modern day Bacchus.
Box
wine into my mouth.
Left all the wine. I mean, that was a bone of contention. So it's the amount and everything. So while I would say that somebody who finds a simple pleasure in that 1 cigarette a week or something like that. Or
a Kim Kitsuragi, if you will.
Yeah.
Or a practice, if you will. Or, hey, every New Year's Eve, I light a cigarette to whatever. I don't care. So, yeah, those are there. But I think that when we're talking about smoking, we're not talking about it being something that someone does a few times. We're talking about the addictive aspects of the smoking and how it's marketed.
But then we're talking about addiction, which I don't think we're talking about because that's the heart of what we're talking about. Yeah. I'm kind of coming around that it's smoking itself is not that bad as an evil thing because, yeah, we have had it forever. That's a thing we as people have done. and like we've also taken rocks and hitting other people with rocks for as long as we've been around, and that's inherently much worse. I don't know. There's something kind of nice, kind of beautiful about the ritual and like the social aspect of enjoying a vice with someone else.
So above F-35, above a weapon that incorrectly destroys individuals. I mean, I think so. Like you've convinced me that like if it didn't get out of hand,
yeah, if it wasn't like
if you
commodity that we sell and use to get people addicted to it,
if you couldn't manufacture it, like if for whatever reason the properties of the tobacco leaf you couldn't like actually like manufacture it. Have you guys ever had a beetle nut? By the way, the answer is probably no.
No.
It's a similarly addictive kind of thing you would chew in when I was living in Taiwan. People would just be chewing beetle nut. It doesn't travel very well. It never caught on in the way that tobacco does, and people just casually eat it. They take it to extremes and have negative side effects. But like, you know, I wouldn't shoot the beetle nut over the F-35 because it just didn't become ubiquitous thing that everyone did.
Right. And the way our economy serves the F-35, like it's completely dependent on weapons of war.
I would rank it below Hamilton.
I change my stance. Hitler is no longer wearing a jacket made of cigarettes in a bunker, both smoking. I think, I could see it definitely below Hamilton. And again, it is one of those things that has become tied up with so much
seeking profit,
so much utilization of human beings as nothing more than your source of income. And it did remind me of a fantastic, a different podcast I listened to that did talk about big tobacco.
I'll bleep it out. Don't worry.
And,
go ahead and say it.
Behind the Bastards.
Yeah.
It's
no, it's
we're just doing a joke.
It's a bit.
We're not gonna tell people what it is.
But it talked about how cigarettes became such how the American big tobacco took cigarettes and made them what they are today. And when you learn about all of the things that went into it and all of the ways that it was pushed and the fact that there were early health warnings that people recognized, but it got shut up. So there's smoking in every culture.
Right. And smoking a hookah is much different than smoking a half
But like,
pack of cigarettes.
you know, it's all wrapped up together. My throat's a little sore.
Oh yeah, you want to keep going? You got what, 9 more?
I do. I could do one more.
Let's smoke more cigarettes.
No, it's how you said you want me to smoke one. Like it's so entangled, like with
the evils.
with what it is. Like I'm sorry, it goes down with the ship. I don't think there's a way to save smoking, the noble smoker. You know.
Right.
I think they both have to go away, both cigarette companies and cigarettes.
I think the heart of the F-35 is worse than the heart of smoking.
Yes. Smoking
only because like we didn't beat the tobacco companies, but they're not the powerhouses they used to be. They're still like giants.
Yeah.
Like,
and also like, you know, smoking isn't designed to kill. It just happens to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing with, you know, the tobacco companies, blah blah blah. Well, they stopped because they got caught doing.
Yeah, they got caught doing the evil thing. Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, your touchy uncle only comes at Christmas, and we don't let him alone with the kids, so it's okay now.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I smoke now.
I love that, like, doing this podcast, sitting next to you smoking. I have the worst fucking headache on the planet. This rocks.
I feel great.
You're like almost approaching a middle-aged Burgess Meredith, sort of, when you hold it out of one side of your mouth.
Sean, you rarely pay me compliments, and I thank you for it. I'm touched. I really am. Okay, so it's above the 35.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. We don't like it.
Yeah.
We should all, you know, much like the F-35, we should throw it into the sea accidentally several times.
It would be better for all of us. Do we plug our shit?
Yeah, if you want to.
Do you have that button that says the Patreon thing?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna find it.
We want to thank Dropping a Pop Locket. For our music, subscribe to the Hate Speech Podcast Patreon. Or don't. It's really up to you.
Yeah, if you want to see that cool picture of me smoking a cigarette, that video, you have to subscribe to the Patreon. It's not going out any other way.
Yeah. And it is free to subscribe.
Your
too,
money will
yeah.
go to me buying cigarettes.
And breath
Nate,
mints.
do you want to tell people how you got these cigarettes today? Take us out on that.
Yeah, I didn't actually use the Patreon money. I should have. Instead, I recycled cans and used the can money to buy cigarettes.
The most cigarette smoker way to get cigarettes.
The most poor people way.
Yep.
Yeah. How many did I do, by the way? What's the end count here?
Smoking one now.
That's your 12th.
6, 8. You've smoked 12.
Hate speech, motherfucker, hate speech. About hate speech, motherfucker, hate speech. 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 About hate speech, motherfucker, hate speech. Hate speech, motherfucker, hate speech. Hate speech, motherfucker, hate speech. Hate you.
By the way, Tyler, how's our ashtray looking? Have we explained what our ashtray is?
Yeah, it's a toilet sitting on our patio.
How's it doing? What that smell like? Describe the innards of this toilet that's been in our backyard for 6 months?
Probably longer. You know, there's a old, wet, moldy rag in there from the rag we used to keep the inner parts working.
Okay.
And now it's full of cigarettes, and there's some hefty water stains in there, covered in dirt. I'm afraid to lift it up to see what our biological runoff has created under it.
You know, it sounds like you just described a patient.